Good morning, gladiators. We are about to play Salute You. There's my finger saluting you, or pointing. Um, all right, today on Oli Plays, I'm playing a game that was actually requested in the comments a few times, and one that I was kind of reluctant to do, but I feel like as part of the continuing history of Swords and Sandals, I feel like it's appropriate to get this game out of the way. Because this game that I'm about to play now for you represents the one and only time that we did a Sword and Sandals reskin. So we took the Sword and Sandals engine and put someone else's intellectual property on it and released it as a different game with no mention of Sword and Sandals. The game came out and I can't remember if it was popular or not. I think it was had a minor success, but there were never any calls for a sequel or anything, and so it sort of sank after 3 to 6 months, and we never really spoke of it again. That game was, of course, Gross Out, and the story behind this game was that a guy came to the company once and brought with him a series of cards that were quite similar to in the 80s, there was these things called the Garbage Pail Kids. And these things were, stinky little kids in trash cans and slime and boogers and toilet humor and all that sort of stuff. And this card game, I think it was very similar and even a little derivative of that. And the guy wanted a game made. And so we basically said, sure. And we looked through our catalogue and decided that Swords and Sandals was a popular game of ours, and perhaps we could reskin that. I was in two minds about it. I didn't know enough about the Gross Out product to be definitive in whether it would be a good idea or not. But at first glance, I thought, sure, why not? It could be fun. Kids love all that toilet humor and everything. The biggest problem, though, and I'll get to that when I show you the game, was when we started building the game, we realized the guy only had 4 main characters and 1 bad guy. That was it. That was the whole world. And so the rest of it was basically different stinky things, like a fish head in a bucket as a power-up or something like that. So we had to try and work all this into some kind of Swords and Sandals game and build a story around it. And I found it immensely challenging, and I was already a bit burnt out after Swords and Sandals 2, and I think I was working on Crusader at the time and was sort of dragged away from it. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, 10 years ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load it up. We're going to play through it for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I don't want to dwell on it too much because it's not the best game we ever made, that's for sure. Oh, that's the sound now. So, Gross Out. Battle for Sludge Valley. So as you can see here, these are the 4 main characters. And this sort of big Texan oil magnate type didn't exist. We had to create an antagonist for the game because the only villain was this generic looking clean freak kid. And I was like, you realize in Swords and Sandals there's hundreds and hundreds of different random enemies plus 20 different arena champions, and that's what the fun of the game is. Do you have any enemies for me? And they're like, nah, just the 4 guys and 1 bad guy. It's like, all right, fine. We'll see if we can make it work. Anyway, let's get into it. We'll play now, my lord. Okay, start a new game. These are your 4 main characters, 4 clowns. I mean, not super inspired by any of them. You've got like a rat, some dog, a guy that looks like he's crawled out of the gutter and hasn't washed in 15 days, and a fat kid who kind of looks like he's in his mid-30s, not really looking like a kid. Let's choose him. He could be the biggest and the strongest. So his name's Plugger. Okay, so Plugger, Skunk, Spike, and Splat. All from Central Casting, really. God, not fantastic. So these guys all have various stats: strength, speed, attack, defense, vitality. Fart Master, which I think is equivalent of taunting. Fitness and stamina, and devices is the magic, I believe. And much like Swords and Sandals 2, you had some armor and weapons in the form of gadgets. It's exactly it is the Sword and Sandals 2 engine with a few like little tweaks I did to, like I think I might have parallax scrolling and that kind of thing. Let's go with Plugger. I'm not super happy about it, but we're gonna go with him anyway. The Battle for Sludge Valley, Prologue, a sinister plot uncovered. Our story begins in Sludge Valley, a peaceful place. Blah blah blah. Okay, the gross gang down a dry whale. There's the half-eaten pirate inside the whale. I dare you to eat him. I made this story up. There wasn't a story, so they said make up a story, and I said okay. There's this oil magnate who's trying to clean up the beach, and he's actually the mayor of the town apparently. You can't come here and do that. That's not fair. So they'd rather play on a beach with a dead whale than have a clean beach. Kids, I've been elected to run this town. Ain't nothing gonna stop me. I'm gonna make the story. Don't try it. Brought along a friend of mine. I'm sure you met him. Johnny Clean at your service.
Yeah, we know who you are from school. Spotless and clean, zero imagination, annoying and easily programmed. Johnny, stay out of this. You're outnumbered.
See, that's where you're wrong, kids. My scientists have been hard at work. So he basically he makes robot clones. That's how I got around the fact there was only one bad guy. Okay, so the battle begins. So basically, the mayor of the town has made an army of clones of this clean kid to clean up the town, and these rat bags are trying to stop him. And you had this kind of like a DJ called DNA who sort of make commentary throughout the game. He had a pretty cool voice, if not a little I don't know, stereotypical blaxploitative. Who knows? I didn't make up the characters. All right, so yeah, he got Sword and Sandals Combat Engine. One cool thing about this is you'll notice this guy's actually really slow, but you notice there's the parallax scrolling. It's kind of cool. You didn't have that in the earlier Sword and Sandals games, so the whale and everything move at a different speed to the characters. Charge. Yeah, so you have this guy going, that was truly gross. So you basically have the DNA guy talking about, like, you get a little bit of commentary on when you win a fight. And that's kind of cool. I would have liked to have that in the original Sword and Sandals. So I did a few improvements to SNS 2, actually, when I was building this. And I was planning on bringing them into another Sword and Sandals. But I ended up doing a completely new engine for Sword and Sandals 3. So you earn some money with Leveled Up. And you hear one of 2 or 3 music tracks in the game. Let's put a bit of speed, a bit of attack, get a little faster, and keep going. The button for continue is hidden behind the picture of me. Alright, so here's the map. Tony Lowe, who did the art for the early Sword and Sandals games, actually did this map for us, and you can they're like the shops. It's basically like the town and so on. So let's see if we can go buy some clothes. Some quite cool armor and weapons in this game as well, actually, that we came up with. And again, none of this was in the actual grossed out card game, so we had very limited stuff to work with. And so we're kind of making it up on the fly. I can't say I love that music in the background. If it keeps up, I might turn it off. So we can't actually wear a helmet yet. What about some chest gear? Nothing available to us yet. Shield? Not yet. Check you on the other side. What about Drywell Beach was where we were at before. The devices shop. Yeah, devices might be magic, and so that's Plugger's mum, who's, you know, pretty scary Botox looking lady, some housewife. This is confusing for me because I'm so used to armor and weapons and so on. I'm actually going to turn the sound off for a while because that's really annoying. So buy devices. Okay, that's like the magic, except it's things like a sugar rush or smell a port. Stenchly blast is like a fart cloud type thing. I believe they were all almost identical to the skills in Sword and Sandals 2, but with different names. So, if you were interested in playing Sword and Sandals 2, but with a completely different skin, maybe this game is for you. Maybe. Something for everyone, right? Where haven't we been? The gadget shop. Garlic Gale. So this is a girl. She could have been a villain. Maybe I should have used her as a villain. She sells stuff. These are weapons. All right, let's get ourselves a rotten fish. Yep. We'll buy that. Dead fish. Great. Anything else? And she gives us a kiss. That's nice. All right. Have fun. See you soon. Now let's have another fight. You can fight at any of these locations, I believe, or most of them. A couple of them are locked off. Oh, it's locked for... Okay. All right. Let's try the nuclear plant. Some actually quite nice art for the backgrounds of these levels, actually. Tony did a good job of this. So you defeat 9 enemies, and then I think you get to fight the fat mayor. So he's basically Big Jim. Basically, he is the arena champion. Now, what I ended up doing was I ended up doing some color treatments on the different Johnny Clean guys because I felt like people are going to go nuts if they're fighting the exact same enemy. So I had a random name generator, and I had things like Stinky or Plop Down or Smell Hand or whatever, and I came up with a bunch of names for them. I think I did that anyway. It's been a long time. Let's charge at him. Should we put the sound back on for the battle? Yeah. So we can do a wet fish, push him away. Maybe we can do a fart or something. That's always amusing. The farts can do damage. Yeah, it's a cool background though for the time, the nuclear plant. But I really feel, this is just maybe me, but the lack of enemy variety in this game really killed it. It's kind of nice to have like all these kind of fun weapons, and as we said, kids do love gross out humor for sure. So there was potential in there. I think it was just check it out. What a dazzlingly gross performance we saw out there today. Got hit by the freight train of pain. So I did the script for this game as well. I apologize. I don't know what that song is. It seems... So one of the 9 enemies. We'll defeat a few more and then we'll wrap it up because, once you've seen a few fights in this game, you kind of seen them all. There's a few different characters you can choose from. The dog is a bit faster, I think. One of them is better at using the magic devices and so on. The game runs pretty well. Looking back at it, it's actually it feels quite fast. The engine is a little bit more bug-free than Sword and Sandals 2. And of all the Sword and Sandals engines, 2 I feel like is easily the most accessible. Not as deep as Sword and Sandals 3, more advanced than Sword and Sandals 1, and faster than all the other ones. So you level up pretty quickly. We should get him some armor. So unlike tournaments in Sword and Sandals, you could actually leave at any time, and all you had to do is defeat the 10 enemies at each different area. Where were they? The thread shop? Sweater? What? It's expensive. We thought the prices in Sword and Sandals were outrageous. These are even more. So what we're going to do is we're going to have another fight or two. I wonder if I can see how quickly we can get through this. So it's Poopy Pants Fresh Wipe. Ah, hilarious. Ha ha ha. I tell you what, my son would probably... I don't know. I'm going to try and, not bring up my son to find all this stuff amusing. But every kid does, You got to let them do what they want. He's only 3 months old, or 4 months old now. So, he'll probably never play this. And it's also strange to have a Sword and Sandals game without all the blood and decapitations and lost arms and so on. So yeah, you level up, you get little abilities. It's Sword and Sandals, it really is. I would have loved to have done a couple of different Sword and Sandals skins, like a space one with Space Marines, or like one set in feudal Japan, that kind of thing. I had all these cool ideas, but unfortunately I just didn't have the resources or the art budget for it. You know, looking back in hindsight, it would have been really cool to if I just had me working on the Swords and Sandals engines, making them better, and maybe 2 or 3 different artists skinning them, and then we'd bring out a couple every year, and really the franchise could have been a lot bigger than it ended up being. It's still a bit of an obscure hit. There are definitely fans and people know it, and you get a lot of Let's Play videos in Poland and that kind of thing. Shout out to my Polish fans. I love you guys. And fans from Brazil and Eastern Europe in general. For some reason, Swords and Sandals is really popular there. Gross Out, of course, isn't, because no one knows about Gross Out. I wonder what ever happened to the card game. I kind of like that guy's his little sound bites. They're kind of fun. He was actually, I think, the best part of the game. How many fights have we had? 4 of them. Let's buy some some threads. 1 or 2 more fights and then we'll call it. Buy that. So he should be wearing his gear now. Yeah, yeah, is he wearing something? If he is, it's hard to tell. Where else can we fight? Nuclear plant. So once you've started a tournament, you have to keep going through it, but you can go back to shop, unlike Swords and Sandals. It would have been nice to have a few more music tracks, wouldn't it? You hear that song enough. So he's using a Sugar Rush power to make him faster, so he's flying all around the screen. So yeah. What? Whoa, where did he go? He's all the way over there. Ah, now poor fat bastard Plugger. He's going to have to amble his way over there. Well, he's going to have to come back and fight us as well. Whoa. That's one thing I loved about Swords and Sandals, was when the characters got very athletic and they do these flips around the screen. I think the Evil Ninja was one in particular who had that power. It was the first one who would just backflip over you and then fire some ninja stars at you. Pretty easy game, this one. I'm not really even concentrating and not even close to losing a battle. I think I lowered the difficulty because of younger kids. But not necessarily the smartest thing to do, because, you know, I think kids, just like everyone, are good at games and do like a challenge. What do you think? I reckon we leave it there. That was Gross Out. The Swords and Sandals game that never was. The first and only reskin that came out 10 years ago, maybe even to the month. Who knows? I have vague memories of building it, and it's funny to hear people mention it in the comments. And I don't even know if it's still for sale or what happened to the Gross Out brand. We never really heard from the guy again. I think with a stronger bit of IP, with a better property, this could have done really well. If it had been marketed a bit better, maybe it would have done well, because the engine itself is proven. And with the right theme, who knows? And you know what? Maybe one day I will actually do some reskins of the new Swords and Sandals games. I mean, I would love for someone like, maybe imagine Masters of the Universe or Transformers or Astroboy, who is, you know, one of my favorites. I mean, I have the little robot from Astroboy here on my desk. So I've got Astro here and Pluto, also known as Bruton. I don't know why I showed you guys that, but I was looking at him before and I thought about it. But imagine an Astroboy, greatest robot in the world, remake of Swords and Sandals. How cool would that be? We can only dream. Well, that's it for today's Let's Play, Oli Plays. Next time I'm probably going to play something really cool. Like I had in mind either Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which was one of my favorites, or Rastan Saga, which I've been meaning to play for some time. Probably be a video in the next couple of days. In the meantime, please leave me comments. I love reading them, and I try to reply to as many as I can. And tell your friends if you're enjoying these and want to see some classic games from the past and some not so classic games made by me, which I'm sort of peppering in there, please like and subscribe. I do appreciate all the subs I'm getting. And you guys have an awesome day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.